I don't mean to sound too morbid to start the year off and whatever, but like, is it ever wrong to wish if someone died?
We live?
We live.
We live. Welcome back to the Opinion Factory podcast, the podcast for free thinkers and challenge seekers.
Yes, sir.
I'm Khelil.
I'm Alex. And yo, you got your stimulus yet?
No.
That stimmy came through?
No.
I ain't get mine yet either, man. And I'm not a violent person or evil person, you know, but
What the fuck?
I kinda really hate Mitch McConnell. And when I say kinda, I mean like really. I really.
You having violent thoughts about Mitch McConnell?
Not personally, but you know, there's some people in life that I just wouldn't care if they're dead. You know, and he goes up in there. You know, and I don't mean to sound.
All right.
I don't mean to sound too morbid to start the year off and whatever, but like, is it ever wrong to wish if someone died? You know, like, I'll use this example, right? Remember when Bin Laden died?
Yes. Yeah.
Remember there were like people in the streets like celebrating, singing USA and
I remember.
all those songs. Like, is that okay?
Well, it was Bin Laden.
I understand.
And that was people here celebrating. What about the people over there?
But it's not the point. It's not the point of who is celebrating. Is it okay to celebrate somebody dying? You know,
that's a tough one because, like, good and evil, obviously to us, Bin Laden's evil as they come.
Of course.
But good and evil is subjective, to be fair.
It is.
And so, we could have wished him dead, but
if you're going around, you know, killing mad people that don't really got nothing to do with what's going on, you know.
But to him and to his supporters, they do have something to do with what's going on. And you ask if it's ever okay to wish it, right? And sometimes it is. Sometimes it. To me, no. Like just the black and white answer. For me, there's no.
Okay.
Every time I have that thought, I guess it's because of how I was raised.
I'm not saying I'm gonna kill somebody.
No, I know what you mean. I'm not saying you're gonna.
I'm saying, like,
just having the thought in your head.
That the world would be better off with this person dead.
Yeah, I just thought that I was taught that if you have that thought, if you wish harm or death upon anyone, it's gonna come back to you.
It's like a karma thing, you know.
Yeah, it's like a karma type thing. My mother was big on the whole type of, you know, energies of the universe and what you put out, you get back. And
is
not only
is karma really real?
I mean, that's up for I'm sure a lot of people debate you on that. You have the law of attraction, you have karma, you have all these different universal forces.
Seems to be,
you have vibrations and you have all that.
Karma seems to pick and choose whoever it focuses on.
Karma works in mysterious ways.
All right, God. Continue, please.
And not only is it like, was I taught that it comes back to you, but it also like changes you internally as a person. This was something Uncle Ben told Peter Parker as well. If you live with hate in your heart, then it's going to corrupt who you are as a person.
I'm not living with hate in my heart.
But when you wish death... All right, so
here's my thing, and I'm not focusing solely on Mitch McConnell, even though he's really...
Right, you said Bin Laden.
Trash,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If there's a person who is objectively
evil,
committing to the harm or suffering of many people...
It's so hard to say objectively when it comes to something like that.
If someone's committing to making your life as miserable and as detrimental as possible,
but for what reason?
Contributing to your suffering because rich people bought them out, or their ideologies say you can't be gay in their religion and they have to kill all of you, or they're bombing places because you do abortion.
And these are all things that you disagree with. But these are things that other people also agree with. So it's hard to say it's objectively evil.
It becomes objectively evil when you're inflicting suffering upon those people just because you disagree with them.
Suffering for what reason and suffering upon who?
So we can use abortions as one, right? How many abortion clinics have got bombed, right? Whether you disagree or disagree,
right?
You know, that's your own situation.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people who like clapping for those bombings. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there's people like, yeah, bomb all of them, get rid of all of them. I am sure of it. So we can't say it's objectively evil.
All right.
Even though
maybe not objectively evil. All right, whatever. Evil, good, whole different discussion. But things that are resulting in the suffering of many people, right?
But what people? So, for example,
why does the people matter though?
I don't want to
like regular everyday
peace
people.
in the Middle East.
Why does it matter?
Regular everyday people.
Yeah. Why does it matter?
It depends on who. It depends on who's suffering.
So
if it's like prisoners,
the average person
versus civilians. If it's Israelites versus Palestinians, you know,
civilians.
It depends on the people. If it's just civilians, to some people, like it's just the common folk. It's just the plebeians, the pedestrians, the whatever. To the bourgeoisie, they don't really care what happens to the regular civilians. So it's okay to inflict suffering. They don't see it as evil. The thing about this is,
go ahead.
When you wish death upon someone, when you fantasize either about you doing it yourself,
I'm not fantasizing about myself doing it,
or it just happening somehow, there's so many other things that you got to take into consideration. That's besides the whole karma, energy, vibrations, universal type stuff. Are we right about this person? What if there's something going on in the background that we don't know about? Because humans have a terrible track record of deciding who lives and who dies. This is a fact. I don't know if you've ever ran into the quote that says, if God answered the prayers of every man, then mankind would have perished a long time ago. Because most men wish evil upon other men.
Okay. But if you have men wishing evil upon other men, then why should I be upset if that evil person dies?
But you could be the evil person to someone else.
I could be the evil person. I could be.
And so if it's not, so in a world where that wish is granted,
yep.
In a world where if you wish it, you get it. You and I could have been dead a long time ago.
We could have been.
And that's not right.
The thing I'm saying is, I don't think we've committed mass atrocities or like making people like. Have you done anything that's resulting in a mass number of people suffering?
Have you ever farted at a party?
All right, bro. Get this man. Get this man. Get this man. Get this man.
I'd be like, who did that?
Get this man out of here, bro. You ever committed genocide, bro?
Well, obviously not.
You ever rape somebody?
Obviously not.
You ever freaking, I don't know. You ever like block people who are dying from getting money that desperately need it? Like, come on, man.
I'm not.
These are people that have. It's not just one incident. We're just showing off the track record of their lives. Maybe there's some puppet figure in the background that's controlling all the stuff. The lizard people are out controlling everything. maybe there is, but from our knowledge and what we know, these people have acted.
Yes, and that could be very limited knowledge.
Intentions of harming and contributing to the suffering of other people.
That could be very limited knowledge.
I don't think I'm such a bad guy. If I want Hitler to die, I don't think that's a bad thing. So I think it's a normal thing. I think that's a normal thing. I think that's a normal thing to want.
I agree. Hitler, Stalin, who's King Leopold II.
Of course.
All those people, if we were alive in those areas that were afflicted by them, wishing for their deaths, even like abusive like spouses or some stuff like that. Like I get it.
So that's
pedophiles. I get it.
All right, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying.
I feel like it's a normal thought, but whether or not it's right or wrong, I feel like it's different from whether or not it's normal. If it's normal, is it right?
I want to debate the right or wrong. I'm not debating the normalcy of it, because I do think it isn't normal.
Right.
I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's wrong.
You could.
If you have someone that's like contributing to suffering of your lifestyle or your people, right? Like let's go back to slavery. We go back to slavery times. We go back to Israel versus Palestinians, whatever. If you're on one side of a conflict, right, and the other people are ruining your life through whatever economic policies or war policies or foreign aid policies, immigration, but whatever it is, I think you're within your right.
What if they're doing that on you because the power dynamics flipped in the last 50 years and now they're doing to you what you used to do to them? Is it okay? Is it then right to wish death upon them if they're getting their retribution in a way?
I don't know.
And this
That's
is
a tough one. That's a tough one.
this is one of the things that I wanted to get into, like in the whole black supremacy thing we're going to talk about. If the power dynamics flips and then you end up inflicting what you hated upon the group that inflicted it upon you, are you then justified in doing that? Are you right? Are you wrong?
Well,
are you just as bad as they are?
Revenge is revenge. I don't think revenge will ever be as wrong as the original act.
But when it comes to violent revenge,
but I actually do want to have a topic on that. But I actually do want to have a topic on revenge. But revenge is revenge. Like, I don't think the person seeking revenge will ever be as bad as the person that caused the seeking of revenge. Right?
That's tough.
Nah, bro. If I'm the person going around like raping your children, and you want to get revenge on me, like
by doing something just crazier,
even if there's a reason why I'm extracting that revenge and trying to make you pay.
That's fine.
Because of all the suffering that you've inflicted upon me.
But if the revenge is worse than the original act, then I would say the person seeking revenge is definitely worse. If I smack you and you're like, I'm gonna get you back, Khelil, and then you go punch my pregnant wife in the stomach, you gotta say, hold on, somebody's wrong.
We're talking about extreme shit. We're talking about extreme.
That's really extreme.
We're talking about come on, bro. Not on an individual level, fam. On like a group level. Like, I'm not talking about.
But there's I'm
not talking about like against individual people, like individual civilians. I'm talking about like powerful people that have the impact and influence to change things in the world. Like if you're Mitch McConnell, fam, right, and you're giving tax breaks to Bezos and Amazon companies, and then you're like, yo, y'all gonna deal with the $600 for the last 9 months. You're not getting $2,000 because it might go to some families that don't really need it. while you're giving dudes yacht tax breaks and shit. It's like, yo, am I wrong for wanting you to die? I don't think so.
But why go to death?
That's the fairest point. But for whatever reason, these people, whether just keep obtaining and holding their power. And all the other and like whatever other things you tried to do that were like normal within society, like societal policies and norms, you can't. It's just not working.
Question.
Like it's the same thing with the Joker thing, man. It's the same thing with
I'm
the
actually
Joker
going
thing.
in that direction. Have you ever seen Gotham? You never watched.
Nah, that was nothing.
So I won't say anything specific so you know who I'm talking about. But in Gotham, in a particular season, there is someone who they can't beat using the rule of law. Like the guy is so well connected to everybody, no matter what you do, he's just like immune.
Like a Wilson Fisk type thing.
Yeah. So what do? Do you kill him?
I mean, how long have you tried?
You've tried for like 2 years, bro. Like,
all right, yeah. I feel like your first thing cannot be death. I agree with you on that, but I don't think it's wrong to be like, yo, I want this person dead. After like, if this person is making such a negative impact on the city, the community, the state, the country.
So what? Put yourself in their shoes. Would you there's the wish, and then let's say we're in a world where the wish is granted if it's wished upon.
I'm not saying necessarily it has to be granted. I'm just saying.
I know, but I just want to like explore like just like the morality, the impact. Mm-hmm. If you're someone and you're self-actualizing, you're a go-getter, and you see something wrong in society, like you're Stain, for example. If you've seen My Hero Academia, you see something wrong in society and you take it upon yourself to fix it. And a lot of people might not agree with you, but then a lot of people do. The people who don't agree with you are the ones who end up being hurt, right? So,
what was even Stain's prerogative? Like, heroes are bad? Like, I don't even...
Well, he had a good point.
About what?
The society built upon heroes make people who don't deserve worship or praise receive those things. They don't do good deeds out of the goodness of their heart. They do it for the money, they do it for the praise, they do it for the status. And they're not really heroes. They're not supposed to be symbols. You're not supposed to worship someone who isn't good for goodness' sake. You're supposed to like the goodness, not the reward for the goodness. You know what I mean? That was his point. And he went out to prove that heroes are all in it for their own selfish reasons.
If I'm saving y'all lives, y'all better be thanking my ass, man.
But you're doing it for the praise.
That don't matter, bro.
That's a different situation.
Sam, if you ever think I'm going to be like Spider-Man or Superman living in some raggedy-ass New York apartments, but y'all your damn mind. Crazy.
I think Stan would have killed you.
I would have killed him.
But my point being,
man wants me to be a superpower that's broke. Get out. Get out. That don't make no sense, bro.
All right, so you're someone, you're inflicting a lot of harm. You have a lot of enemies. You have a lot of supporters.
Okay.
You get caught, right, because someone wished for you to die. would you feel comfortable with society as a whole determining whether you live or die? Would you feel comfortable with your fate being determined by someone who wishes for it?
I mean, it's murky, man. But I feel like if you live in a society where things like I'm talking about transgressions that have been deemed by the world are very wrong,
like killing.
Yes. Well, killing's okay in the right situation.
Like if you wish it upon someone that you don't like.
No, listen, man. In the right situation, killing's okay. Self-defense.
Revenge.
Possibly, yeah.
Wait, for real? No. Killing out of revenge?
All right, Mr. Black and White here. If someone killed someone very close to you, you would want to get revenge. I'm not saying it's okay to necessarily do
kill him,
it.
though.
I mean,
if I had my way, like we spoke about this in the death penalty episode. If I had my way, I wouldn't kill him. That's the easy way out. I'm a little bit more sadistic than that.
Regardless, I understand the mindset of someone who does that. Regardless, especially if you're uninvolved in any drug or street anything, someone just came up and murdered. Oh, yeah, I understand that, right? But there's other situations too, right? If you're a victim of sexual abuse, all that type of stuff. That's fair.
Yes. Now you say yes. I've had a very intimate, very deep conversation with someone who survived rape, and they wished death upon that person, and it just felt so right to them. Like,
I mean, the person ruins your life.
Yeah, it just felt like just seeing them like describe it and like talk about it and just like really, really feel that. Like I can see what you're saying.
All right, so if we're talking about those things that are kind of, I don't want to say objectively bad, but most people have agreed.
Rape is objectively bad. Rape is, I would say rape is objectively bad.
So is pedophilia.
Yes, absolutely.
So if these are these things that people say are objectively bad, or maybe it's just, hey man, maybe in other parts of the world, 30-year-olds marrying 12-year-olds is okay. Like, I'm pretty sure there's still places like that exist. But if we agree on those things and these things are happening, I don't think it's wrong to wish death upon those people. Pedophiles are sick ass people, man.
But I feel like that scenario is too easy. Like that's clear cut.
Yeah. So but you're saying it's okay to do that though. That's my point. So now if there's are going to be murky situations where it's not as clear. But if you're someone who is struggling or who has struggled as a recent result of the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. And it's too easy to target Mitch McConnell in this situation. But it's like, if you're someone and you're like super pissed that Mitch McConnell only wanting $600 for everyone, like
for 9 months of rent, that was $1,500 each month,
right? Or like not even if you were getting paid, like 9 months of not being able to do things that you used to be able to do, 9 months of not being able to make money in ulterior ways because everything shut down,
right?
Like your livelihood got messed up, and it's like it's almost like to a point where it's like, yo, you might as well give us no money at all because it's a slap in the face.
It's really a slap in the
like
face.
what is $600 over 9 months, bro?
It's really a slap in the face.
What is the math on that? Like
that's gonna. If you have kids,
$150 per month or something like that.
I don't.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's the point where it's a slap in the face, where it's like, yo, F this guy. That's what I'm thinking. And it's not just Mitch McConnell. There's other people that block the whole thing too. So that's why it's just a little interesting.
It's easier. I feel like for me, it's easier to determine it if it's on an individual level. When it comes to like group level, like when you're talking about
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
if it's like an individual basis, it's much easier to say, you know what, you're right for wishing this person to die.
No, I agree.
But when it comes to like, I forgot what.
But let's take two examples. If it's like a government station thing, like if it's like Jim Crow or like, like if you're dealing with institutions or organizations, KKK, Jim Crow. If you're, like freedom fighters or whatever, state governments that
Nazis.
have done, state governments that have killed people, like that's unnormal, and I think you're well within your right, man. I think it's okay. I know it's a little morbid, and I don't think you should be wishing death on everybody, but I think there's certain times where it's okay to do.
And so you're one of the people who believe that. I think you've already said this. The act of killing in and of itself isn't necessarily evil.
No,
because killing happens in nature all the time.
It's circumstantial. It's circumstantial.
You talking about like humans? Like I'm talking about like just in general. Are you talking about like humans specifically?
I'm talking about humans specifically. Like if you're like, humans are tribal animals. So as tribal animals, we go to war with other tribes. That happens all the time. Same thing with lions. Same thing with monkeys. Same things with other.
Lions go to war with other prides?
Lions have their pride, right? And then rival lions will try to take over the lion's pride. So like you'll have like 2 or 3 roaming lions of maybe brothers or something, and then they'll be by themselves and they have to like.
No, like I know monkeys did it. I just didn't know lions did it too.
Yeah.
Just learn something new.
Like you heard of lion pride.
Yeah. I know about the prides. I just know
so
they went to war.
You'll have a call it war loosely, but we'll call it battle, right?
But they battled, yeah.
So you have like 2 roaming lions. Like lions mark their territory. Cats are territorial animals, and then maybe like another rival lion group, 2 or 3 lions will then try to fight the other lions, and
possibly kill them.
Whoever wins takes the pride. And just like in war with humans back in the day, or even now, you kill the other men, you kill their sons and daughters, and then you take their women.
Right.
Same things happen to humans. Same things happen to monkey tribes, lion prides, all things. So we're tribal animals, and there's situations where, it's just nature, bro. Like the situation, there's circumstantial situations where killing is okay.
That's why I don't want to, get on my high horse and say, hey, you're wrong for, wishing this thing. It's. I don't want to say you're wrong, but I feel like it's not right because I feel like just the act of wishing.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, bro. I'm not
another living organism.
I'm not hoping.
Is just.
I'm not hoping someone just has like a death note book and be like, all right, this person did this. I want you to die like this.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
I don't want you to do that, but I want a situation where if it's someone's that, like whether it's a government person or someone just very powerful is inflicting so much negative on your community.
But
or the
when
world.
It comes to what I was saying. When it comes to the government situation, it's so much harder.
Government is hard. It is hard
because you don't know who's the puppeteer. Mitch McConnell could just be.
No, you
take away the puppet. The puppeteer's just gonna get a new one.
I agree. So you don't really know who's in control, fam. I do agree with you that. So it is murky. Like I'm not saying I want Mitch McConnell to die, but I really want that dude to kick rocks though.
Like saying I wish he was fired. I wish he. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I'm sure there's people in the Middle East who wish Obama died because that man loved his drone strikes. A little bit too much. A lot of it too much.
That's very valid. And that gets back into the point of revenge, where if people are taking revenge on us for something that we initially did, not to justify terrorism.
I was gonna go there earlier, but I forgot which group it was. It was in my 10th grade history class that I was taught this. Shout out to Ms. Cook. I think it was in Rwanda. I'm not sure. It was between, I think, the Sunnis and the Shiites. The Sunnis and the Shiites. I could be wrong. It was 2 African groups. One was in power for a long time.
It might be the Hutus and Tutsis you think.
Maybe. That sounds familiar too. And they wildly oppressed one of the groups. Right? It was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Things changed. I think they got colonized, and then the colonizers preferred the group that was oppressed before and put them in power, and then they just started wilding out against their previous oppressors. Like, it was ugly. And then it's like, well, who's right and who's wrong here? Because now that they're in power doing the same thing, could they have complained before? Can they really complain about their past if they're doing the same thing right now?
Because the whole thing is, would these people have acted that way if they were in power originally? Like, there's no way to know, but, probably not. Maybe.
Who knows?
There's no way to know, but they act like that because it's retaliation.
Maybe.
Man. It's an eye for an eye. The only problem with the eye for an eye is make the whole world blind. The cycle never stops when you operate on this level. That's the real problem with this, right? So we're wishing death upon people, or we're saying it's okay or it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, if everyone had their prayers answered, then the cycle would never stop, and then very good people and
mankind would have perished a long time ago.
Right. But I do think there's individuals where it's fine to do that, or even institutions.
Oh, you think that? Who decides that?
If I wanted every KKK guy to die, I feel like I'm well with him. Like that's.
Yeah, you feel like that. But what about white America back in the 1930s?
Fuck them. The hell?
They vastly outnumber the people.
What about the Jew? What about the Nazis in 1920s? Like,
yeah, I'm sure there's people back then who the Nazis didn't come out of nowhere, bro. Hatred of the Jews didn't spring out of Hitler from Hitler.
I'm not saying they did.
And I'm sure for every Jew wishing that those Nazis would die, I'm not saying I'm sure, but maybe for every Jew wishing a Nazi would die or Hitler would die, there were like 2 or 3 Germans wishing like all the Jews would just get out of here already. And when you
So
when you're
what's your
outnumbered like
all right?
that,
But let's do this. You're committing a genocide. Whatever your reason of committing a genocide is, bro, it's probably not even based on fact.
but when society decides what's right or wrong, what do they look at? They look at numbers. If most people are in favor of this, then it's considered right. They even look at laws. They think a lot of people think if it's the law, then it's right,
Which is false.
which is false. But when we're trying to decide what's right or wrong, are we going by our moral standards or by society standards? And what gave us our moral standards? It was society itself.
No,
So what do we trust here? Who decides? It can't be us. No matter how wrong we think the other, like even if it's clear cut, like this is a genocidal maniac, we could be in the minority thinking that. And then are we then right? Are we then wrong? We don't decide what's right or wrong. Society does, but society could be wrong about what's right and wrong.
I understand where you're going, and it is a very tricky situation when you put it like that. Very tricky, right? But in those certain circumstances of genocide or mass murder or rape or pedophilia,
It seems easy.
I feel like
Well,
that's,
pedophilia, rape, yeah.
I feel like that's easy,
But
man.
I feel like there's so many people like defending rape and shit. Like I feel like that should be clear cut in society, but it really isn't. Like you get raped and dudes will be like, "What were you wearing?" Like that happens a lot.
It does.
And that's,
It does.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, it does. I never once thought, never thought because a person's wearing certain clothes, you can just do whatever you want to. That's wild, But whatever. Next, but that last question you asked was a really good question because now I'm kind of stuck. Like, who decides what's right and wrong? True, and society and influences your decision. But there's just some things that I feel like it's a clear cut, man.
You feel like I'm sure everyone feels like something.
All right, so my clear cut thing is if you're contributing to suffering and detriment of people.
What people? Jews?
Why does it matter what
Tutsis,
people?
Hutus?
Why does it matter what people?
Sunni, Shiite?
Why does it matter what people?
Because depending on who is suffering, a bigger group of people could be in favor of that.
But why does that matter though?
Because that would determine if that's right or wrong.
No. What determines if right is wrong if someone's contributing to the suffering of those people?
All right, so I got a question for you, right? When it comes to who's the people, if I become like the governor of Massachusetts one day, right?
Uh-huh.
And I go to like the biggest prison in the state, and I'm like, you know what? Round up all the people in here who were locked up for pedophilia. All of y'all are gonna have a very small meal a day. You're gonna be in solitary confinement for the rest of your lives, and you might get whipped like 2 or 3 times a day just cause I hate y'all, right? And so now this group of people is suffering. It could be a large group. It could be hundreds of people are suffering, but most people were like, fuck pedophiles. I do not care what happens to these monsters.
Okay.
And I would not be seen as wrong.
True. And but these are people that have already been punished or already being punished for their atrocities, right?
Can they ever be punished enough?
I don't know. But if they're in positions where they cannot commit those atrocities anymore, then good riddance. I don't think states should just be murking people just because of what they did. Death penalty is a whole different thing, but circumstantial once again. But if these people are already punished, then
no, this is part of the punishment. It's just you get tortured and starved.
I mean, if
barely kept alive.
If you're a country that does against cruel and unusual punishment, then you can't be doing that.
Yeah, if it's cruel and unusual against a population of people that you consider monsters.
Not the same as wishing death, though. Not the same as wishing death, because for those people.
But who would wish death upon me? The pedophiles. You think the regular populace would wish death upon me?
No, but my point, and you can bring up this example. My point is that what you're not causing people to suffer that are like innocent, though.
Yeah, we don't think they're innocent. There could be some people who got convicted falsely.
All right, come on, man.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, all right.
It all depends on the perception of the people.
All right. Maybe there's a few of them, and that's why I also agree that you can't just be.
And when it comes to the Israelites and the Palestinians, they don't think everyone's innocent all over there. They probably think whatever happens, they get what's coming. It's not. When it comes to groups, You can't just say if you're inflicting suffering on a group, then you
But if you're talking about those type of people, where the history is clear, right? The history is clear. Like,
is it clear?
There's circumstances where it is. Like, you talk about slavery, you talk about Jews, you talk about like Native Americans, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that history is clear in those situations. At least the knowledge we have. Right. The history is clear. Maybe the knowledge we have is wrong, which is possible. But,
seems clear, yeah.
Yeah, right. That history is clear. Then the other group is the oppressor, and you're right for wishing them to be dead or wishing them to be gone. At least, because like I said, it's not a situation where.
But that's not the situation I'm talking about.
But I'm talking about. But the situation I'm talking about is not people. It would be like if a pedophile was going around unpunished, bro. That's why I brought up the Joker. Like, I'm talking about situations where this person or a person in power, like a president or a governor or a prime minister, where that person is in power and is purposely contributing to the suffering of other people. And they're retaining that power, so they're still in power to do that again. I'm not talking about for people who've been punished already, or people that have been like that can't commit these atrocities anymore. So that's why I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. The Joker. The Joker is a prime example. Like, this dude goes around murdering people, always finds a way to get out, goes around murdering people again. Like, I want that guy dead. That's
I am talking about your situation, but from a different angle. You could be in power. You could be murking people. But if society as a whole agrees with you murking these people, and then is it right or wrong for them to wish you dead?
It's right for the people who have the suffering against them to wish you dead. That's what I'm saying.
So if I was torturing Joker and he wishes I died, you think like, yeah, no, that's fair. Like, I get it. Why you'd wish me dead?
Yeah, I get it. He'd be wrong though, but I get it. I get it, bro. If someone's torturing you, fucking you up, and you wish him dead, I understand. That's my whole thing. That's the whole thing I'm arguing for. But if you're a piece of shit like him, you're not really in that position to do that, or it's like just kind of a little hypocritical. You know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what I'm saying, bro.
If I slap you, then you slap me. I'm like, I deserve that. I would be like, fuck you, Alex.
Yeah, I'm not.
So if I'm torturing people and now I'm getting tortured, I'm like, fuck this guy.
You reap what you sow.
And you should understand that. And so if Joker's like, I wish you died. You like, I wouldn't, like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, this is what you did.
Alright, so is me torturing you the same as you torturing just random people on the street for the hell of it? It's not. It's not the same, bro. It's not the same. I'm
not saying that, though. I'm not saying it's the same. I'm just saying in different situations, depending on who you're torturing, it can be seen as right or wrong. Or you just can't have an opinion on it at all. And that's why I feel like when it comes to wishing someone dead, like we shouldn't even trespass into that. Like, I feel like once those thoughts enter my head, I try to get them out as quickly as possible. Like trespassing into that train of thought, this is the rabbit hole I go down. It's like, do I have the right here? What if I have the wrong understanding? When it comes to Mitch McConnell, when it comes to rapists and pedophiles, I'm not going to make a case for them.
Oh boy, you got the wrong understanding, Khelil. You got the wrong understanding, man.
I feel like someone might make a case for them, but I don't want to be the person who does.
But what if you got wrong understanding, though?
I could. No. And I feel like I would be wrong in that situation, which is why I don't like having this thought. Because what if I think I know this and I think that this is reprehensible objectively, but then I'm wrong about this person? But I don't want to be the person that defends raping, and it could be a cultural thing, like back in the 50s when dudes would just start treating their wives like punching bags if she dropped the casserole, and that was acceptable.
Aren't you a traditional guy?
I'm very progressive. There's some things I think, some traditions I think are nice. Not the wife beating kind, obviously. But back then, wife beating, what we find reprehensible, was so commonplace, was so normal that, wishing death upon a guy who beat his wife, like another man probably wouldn't do that.
You don't have to. I'm saying if you're the sufferer or you're the person suffering from that, I feel that's a normal thing to do.
Normal, but right?
Yes. If this person is causing you suffering for no good reason, or whatever the reason might, that's what I'm arguing, bro. Like I'm arguing
individual basis.
But I'm arguing for groups too. If they're causing suffering on a group level,
But like we just discussed, that's so much more tricky.
It's trickier. But if these people are contributing to my suffering when I have not committed these grave atrocities I'm being accused of, or just mind my own business, fam. Like, what did the slaves do that was like, yeah, all you do deserve to die? What did they do? I ain't hear about them doing crazy shit. I ain't hear about the Jews doing no crazy stuff in Germany. I didn't hear about the Armenians doing crazy stuff in Turkey. I did not hear about the Native Americans doing crazy stuff over here. like, come on, bro. Like, what? Like, it's a target because people have power and they target the other, and that's what happens. So if you wish those people dead, fine. I'm not saying like death should not be the first thing you're wishing upon this person. Mm-hmm. It should not be. But if there's been time after time after time, they've retained their power through whatever means. It's like, all right, bro. Like, I really wish you kicked rocks, man. I
feel like that's a strong point. I'm not gonna argue with that. I feel like we can end it there.
All right, man. That's all I'm saying. The only
I can see it.
The only question I gotta ask y'all is: it ever okay to wish somebody dead?
I'm not comfortable with it, but I can. After this discussion, I can understand why some people feel strongly that, you know what, even when it comes to groups, then it's fine.
Yeah, it's
fine. I get it. Opinion Factory Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you share it with your friends, with your family. Let us know what you think.
Like the video. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Apple, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you see a podcast. Thank y'all for listening. We'll see y'all
next week.